You know, I got through the why and the what, and now I just realized that I didn't even turn on the stupid thing. You ever been camping and you just think to yourself that my AC is not cooling like it should? It's hot. Kids are coming in and out. Your wife's hot, you're hot. It's just not a fun camping trip. A lot of people like to blame non-cooling on the refrigerant, but sometimes it's just not that. So today we're going to see how to clean an AC unit. So let's get into it. You might be wondering why we should clean our AC unit. The first reason is it's manufacturer recommended. The second reason is it gives you better performance. And the third reason, I like this one the best, it makes you cooler. So now we know why we need to clean our AC unit. Let's figure out what we're going to clean. So today we have a Coleman mach here just for the purpose of me showing you how to clean it. But you might have a Dometic, Furrion, GE, or one of the other RV AC units. They're primarily the same. They both have an evaporator coil and a condensing coil that needs to be cleaned. So now I'm gonna bring you in and we're gonna find out what tools that we need to actually clean this. So come on, let's get into it. A couple of things that you're gonna need to open the shroud up and to get to the evaporator coil and the condensing coil are just a couple of tools. One, I like the cordless drill. All right, and you'll need a Phillips bit, especially for your Coleman mach, but it might change. You might have other style screws on the other manufacturers, so just look to see what you have and go to your toolbox and get whatever you need from there. For your Coleman, I recommend a large Phillips head screwdriver, so that way you can get to these screws at the very top. Sometimes on the older systems they put blue Loctite in there, and it was really hard, and sometimes it ended up when using these that it just ripped off the head off that screw. So just be careful when you open it. Also, you'll just take a regular size Phillips screwdriver. You'll need a towel or a rag or whatever. I'll show you why you need that later. We have two different types of foam cleaner. The first one is Frost King. The reason why I buy this one is because it comes with a handy dandy little brush that you brush the fins with. I like that better than the handheld tool. Also, you have the evaporator foam no rinse. So let me interrupt here. I didn't tell you why I use the new Calgon. It's a evap foam no rinse. This is for the evaporator only. That's if someone is inside or they will be inside, you know, right after I do this. It leaves a lemony smell to it, and it's not a more chemical smell, if you will, with the Frost King. So that's why I use the new Calgon evaporator foam no rinse. Now I'll put all of this information in the description below. That way you're not having to look and write it down. But also a squirt bottle with just only water in there. And that's it. That's all you have to have. And it's real simple. So let's see how simple this is going to be. Let me get the camera adjusted, and I'll start on removing the shroud. But before that, Just give me a minute. I will tell you what you really need to do before you even take the shroud off. We'll be back. So the important thing that you have to do, the important part of this process before you get into this, is to go and turn off the breaker switch for this particular AC. If you don't know which breaker switch it is, if you have two, let's say, ACs, go ahead and pop them both off, so that way you know that you're not going to be electrocuting yourself when you're taking care of the evaporator coil, because that's where the AC wires, the power wires are located. So we'll first start off with removing these two top screws. There are two screws back here that hold the shroud in. All right, now that we have the two top screws and the back two screws, now this is for the new design that Coleman came out with. The old models actually have 4 screws, big screws at the top. So depending upon your model, you might have to take off the screws at different locations. But once you have that, then you can pull the shroud right off. So this box here is where, inside of here is the evaporator. So this is your evaporator cover assembly. Behind it is your condensing coils. Whenever I get to this side in a minute, I will show you the back part. This is where I bring in my cordless screwdriver. It actually goes faster with this instead of your hand Phillips. And I'm going to show some video of me doing this earlier where I have a closer shot for you. Also, when you're taking this evaporator cover off, you will see that it had some aluminum, look like duct tape, but it's not. It's just aluminum AC tape. That is to keep any hot air going in to the unit. And because what it's trying to do is to pull the hot air from your actual camper and bring it through the evaporator coil, so that way at that point that's where the heat exchange takes place and it dumps cooler air back into the camper or through the duct system. Okay, now that we have all of our screws out, I'll remove the evaporator cover to reveal our evaporator coil. As you can see, it's not dirty because I've cleaned this already. But what you are wanting to do is you're going to be wanting to take any of the dirt, hair. You might have dog hair if you have pets, or whatever pets that shed, you might have that there. You can even have styrofoam from your ducting system gets pulled into this and gets stuck. So I'm going to go get my my foam brush, well, the brush that's on the Frost King can, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you What you need to do in the very beginning before you start spraying it and getting it wet, this is to clean out these fins, and I'll talk more about the fins in a second. You need to be careful with these fins because since they're aluminum, you will be able to, you might remember when you were a little kid, you might have wrote your name inside on your parents' window units or at your high school, or yeah, you don't want to remember those times. I didn't do it. But yeah, using this will allow you to straighten up any of the fins. It'll allow you to get the hair, dirt, whatever in between the fins that's right there on the surface. You're still going to have some stuff inside there near the coils, but that's where the foam's going to come in to clear all that out. All right, so once you have swept, if for lack of better words, once you have cleaned the area on the fins, you're going to go ahead and take a rag. You're going to put it where all these wires are. You're going to make sure, and then one thing I didn't say in the beginning, because this is the test unit, I don't have the freeze sensor that's inserted into the evaporator coils, but you'll need to take that out and lay it down. You're going to want to kind of make sure that the rag or the towel is in the hole, because once you start spraying and you're getting your water bottle in there, that could leak into your camper. So you want to minimize as much water going down. You will get some down. So if you are doing one that's in the front, a unit that's in the front and it's over your bed, you might want to put a towel down so that way you're catching all of the water and whatnot that comes out. You know, there's could be some trash too. So that just protects your inside of your camper. And so from here, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start applying the foam to the bottom, and then I'm going to work my way up. Now I'm just going to do a little bit. I'm not going to do the whole thing because I want to leave some for the back. Now this can actually do both evaporator coil and the rear coil, and have some left if you still have some tough spots that you need to get. So here we go. All right, that's about as much as I'm going to do for right now, because I want to leave some for the back. So as this works, you can now move to the back to the condensing coils and start doing the same thing that you did there by brushing and spraying. So let me get the camera moved around and we'll do that. All right, now we're at the back of the AC unit. This is the condensing coils. We have our spray, we have our brush. You do the same thing that we did in the very front. You get the fins all straightened out. You still have to be careful when you do this because you don't want to mess up anything. But as you get everything nice and clean, remember, you still might have some trash and junk inside. That's fine. Also important to note is for a Coleman Mach or Coleman products, they actually suck air into the condensing coils and then it expels the hot air out on the sides. A Dometic, on the other hand, brings air in to the side and pushes that air out. So when you're doing your Dometic cleaning of the AC unit, you're going to have to take off the back cover of the condensing coil so that way you can actually get to the dirt and the grime that's stuck in the fins. That's kind of challenging because you have a fan right there that's going to be in your way. Just do the best you can. You might not be able to use this. You'll probably have to use another tool, but this will you'll be able to still spray that in there, the foam into the coils to get the dirt out. So today for a Coleman Mach, we're just going to do the exact same thing that we did up front. We're going to spray the bottom. And we're going to continue on up. As you can tell, I'm running out of cleaner. So as you let that set, then you go back up to the evaporator coils to start cleaning that area. Since I have you set up back here, I'm going to go ahead and clean, finish up with this in the condensing side. You just apply water and you get all of the suds and stuff out. On the condensing coil, it's going to start leaking on the roof earlier. It still will, water will still be trapped in the bottom of the AC unit. And what I mean by bottom is the inside bottom, not the outside. But it will find its drain holes, and it will leak out onto the surface. So let me get you set up real quick, and we'll do the evaporator coil, finish that up. All right, now we're back up at the evaporator coil. You can tell that it has finished foaming out the dirt, and what we're doing now is going to finish up taking the rest of the foam that did not get pushed out and just cleaning that out. Sometimes what happens when you have a brand new bottle here, you're going to get a lot of foam, and it's just going to sit right on top of your rag. When you remove it, just be careful. Just be careful. You don't want to take you don't want to have some of that stuff fall into the hole and then into the camper. Now you can't see, but off screen I can tell that my drain holes are leaking because it's leaking onto the ground. There's 2 drain holes on both sides inside this area behind the evaporator coil, and I can see the channel back here, and it's all clear. That wasn't too bad. And this is what you do to clean your AC coils to give you better performance, to satisfy manufacturer, and to extend the life of your AC unit. And then the bonus, you're going to be cool. Not Fonzie cool, but you're going to be cool. You're going to, yeah. All right. Once you have this done, this part done, you're going to remove your towel there. You're going to put your freeze sensor back in. Make sure that none of the wires that were connected to your control box here or any of the other control wires have been disconnected, come loose, because then you'll be calling me asking me how to get that back together. Once you have all of that secured back to where it was, and you've looked in the back, everything looks good there. No foam is still standing. All right, now that we've finished up cleaning the evaporator coils, we're going to go ahead and put the evaporator cover back onto the unit. So let me get that. So with the evaporator cover, I always like to start in the back, get that lined up, make sure both sides are within, and then voila. So on this particular Coleman Mach, it only has one of these brackets that you put back right here in the center. I don't know if you can see that or not, but on the older models, they put 3 there just because of how they had the 2 bolts up at the top. With this one, since they have 2 screws in the back, they only put 1. I think that's just another way to save money. But that helps to keep the shroud connected and not blow off when you're going down the road. Remember that you'll need some of the AC duct tape, aluminum tape, so that way you can plug up any of the holes, because we don't want to get even hotter air coming into this unit. We're not trying to air conditioning outside, we're trying to condition the air from the inside. So we have that on. At this point, we will be able to now put the shroud back on. Sometimes this gets a little tricky. You just got to be patient. And pull the shroud over that. There you go. Now, for you to know that it's down and in its proper place, you can actually now see the holes for these screw bolts. And again, I like to use the big Phillips, so that way I'm not breaking off the heads or tighten them down like Mr. Hercules. I've had to drill out a couple of these in my time. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let's put that down here. Put these in. I might be showing you some additional footage that I had, so that way you can actually see close-ups of this area. So there. Now if you ask us to come out and do the cleaning, we do a performance check, which does this, plus we go ahead and we check your compressor, make sure your compressor is in good working condition. We check your fan, make sure that that's in good working condition. We check your capacitors to make sure that they're still within spec. But you're able to do this very bare minimum by cleaning the evaporator coil and the condensing coil, which again will make you cool. So I hope you learned a lot. I look forward to hearing some feedback. I know this is not perfect, but this was fun. I love teaching, and I hope I taught you something today. We'll see you on the next video.